Hello, and welcome to the Natural Healers Network TV. Based here in Silicon Valley, we have the Natural Healers Group, which supports our community in natural healing. Today we have Johanna Lyman here talking about Pandora's Box. We're so happy to have you here, Johanna. We can't wait to hear all about it.
Thank you, Lisa. Let me start with a little background.
Great.
I joined the Natural Healers Network last summer when I moved to the Bay Area, the South Bay, and it's been such an amazing community for me. I'm a speaker and a life coach, and I have a business called My Sacred Yes. And last fall, early winter, I got this divine download that it was time to put on a performance.
Ooh.
Which I hadn't done since high school. So I got this idea for a performance that I'm calling Opening Pandora's Box, Stories of Truth and Hope. And it has been this incredibly magical experience because I said yes to the vision. And I started putting the word out, and I have attracted the most amazing women, and we're all gathering to tell our stories on the stage in Campbell on September 15th. And these are stories of women who had challenging things happen to them when they were children or went through difficult circumstances later in life, and they took these experiences and turned them into gifts.
Nice.
And it's been incredibly inspiring. I knew I was onto something when in January and February I was interviewing potential cast members. And I had a conversation with a young woman who had overcome a drug addiction. And I thought, well, that's not such a big deal. And of course, overcoming a drug addiction is a huge deal.
Of course.
But the stories that I had collected were so much more powerful than that. And I said, we have got to get this message out into the community because so many of us walk around feeling like there's something wrong with us, or we're not good enough in some way, or we're unlovable because of who we are. And it's not true. It's really not true.
No, it's not. Everybody has these experiences, and we become either better for it or not. So it's really important to pay attention of the storyline. And yeah, so tell me, when you got this download, how did you decide to go about producing this and making this happen? And how did you connect with everybody? And what was the story around that?
Yeah, it's kind of like a fairy tale story.
Okay.
It almost sounds like too good to be true, impossible. So I mentioned that it came through as a divine download.
Yes.
I do a lot of work in the spirit world. I'm a channel, and so I'm used to hearing voices.
Okay.
And I check the voices against what feels right inside of myself. And I got this voice that said, you are going to be the maestro of a grand collaboration, and it will be very entertaining. And I said, okay, thanks, that's about clear as mud. But I said, okay, what would that look like? And I just let it simmer.
Okay.
And as it simmered, I was talking with my husband, and I'd really been engaged in these conversations that's not good enough, feeling unworthy. I had read some of Dr. Brene Brown's work.
Oh, I love Brene Brown. She's amazing.
Love her. And for the audience, if you haven't
Amazing.
seen her on TED Talks or read her most recent book is Daring Greatly. So I was sort of really thinking about the shame stories and how we all have them. And they come in so many different flavors. And I thought that could be really interesting to gather some of the different flavors of people's shame stories and talk about how women have transcended them.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. What is the performance going to look like? What is it going to be like? Like, what would somebody expect if somebody wanted to come see this performance or just wanted to share it with other women and they got a group of women together to go out for a Sunday afternoon, what would this look like?
Yeah.
What for them? How are you presenting it?
Yeah, it would be a great girls' afternoon out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to be some big fancy production.
Okay.
It's modeled after the vagina monologues.
Wow.
And in fact, I think of it as the vagina monologues of a woman's worth.
Oh.
So there are 8 or 9 of us who will be getting up on stage and telling our stories. And the story's not, it's not going to be a downer either, because some of them actually have some really hilarious components. So people are going to laugh, they're going to cry, they're going to be really touched, they're going to be, I think, totally amazed by the courage and the hearts that these women have, and how they're sharing their gifts with the world in ways that, if you heard the beginning of their story, you would say that person is got to be huddled under a rock somewhere with everything that happened to her. But no, instead she's out in the world contributing in a really beautiful way.
Sounds like a really big way.
And in really big ways in some instances, yeah, changing the lives of thousands of people.
It's amazing. What a gift. So what do you want the audience to leave with? How do you want them to feel?
That's a great question. I want them to be inspired, first and foremost. I want them to be uplifted. I want them to take a look at their own stories. And instead of letting what happened to them be an excuse for not doing what they're here to do in the world, I want them to consider that the things that have happened in their lives didn't happen to them, but happened for them. I really believe that the experiences that happen to us or in our lives are there to crack open the seeds of our greatest gifts.
Wow, that's really powerful. What a gift you're giving to our community.
Well, and it's a gift I'm giving to myself too, because I have those stories.
Yeah.
In fact, Pandora's box is, when I think about it now with a little hindsight, the performance and my coaching practice, everything I do in the world is centered around helping women feel like they're enough. Good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, strong enough, that their lives are enough. And it comes from my own background. I was, it's not a big deal now, but I was the child of an unmarried Catholic mother, Irish Catholic mother in the 60s. Like, it was horror. It was the most shameful experience of her life. And I absorbed that shame inside of her body. So I came out not feeling like I wasn't good enough, but that I didn't have a right to exist. That,
Wow.
yeah, and I didn't know this. I didn't walk around saying, oh, not there's something wrong with me, but your existence is wrong. I didn't walk around saying that,
Mm-hmm.
but it was the tape that was running subconsciously in my mind almost my whole life, and still pops up with annoying frequency now. And so this is my way of helping other women to not have to suffer the way I did. I mean, I used that tape running in the back of my head made me do great things. I succeeded in a lot of things. I was really smart, but I was always trying to prove that I was enough.
Yeah.
And I want for other women not to suffer the way I suffered. So that's why I do everything that I do, really.
Do you have one tip that you could share with the audience to help them kind of get through their own shame story? Is there anything that you could share that could assist them and guide them?
Yeah. If I could say one tip, if you're struggling with a shame story, tell the truth about it to someone. Tell the truth about your experience to someone that you trust. Because shame can't exist in an environment of truth-telling.
That's what it sounds like you are doing with this program.
Yeah.
So when is the program
It's Sunday, September 15th at 2 o'clock
and where?
in Campbell at the Heritage Theater.
At the Heritage Theater.
Yeah.
And you can just go get tickets online.
There's like 5 different ways to get tickets. They make
Okay.
it very easy, and I've got ways to do that on my website.
Great. So we'll be
yeah.
sharing your website.
Great.
Johanna, thank you so much. This has been such a gift to sit here with you and talk to you. Do you have any last words that you'd like to share with the audience?
Oh, yes, you are enough.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Great.